Hi, Caroline Kearney here at Powell Arts, and I'm with the magnificent Melissa Frederick in front of one of her 3 pieces, which will be in our It Is Written show, which will be going from now through October 29th. We're also doing a special preview during the Collingswood Arts and Crafts Festival, which will be on August 19th and 20th. Melissa, after that huge mouthful,
Yes.
will you introduce us to your piece?
Sure, thank you. This piece, this is actually a rather new one. It's called My Name is Home. And this actually has a lot of different written scripts in it, which, I've been working with something called asemic writing for about a year now.
Yeah.
I learned about it actually through an Instagrammer named Autumn Moon. She did I was involved in, it was a mixed media workshop that
you were taking an assemblage course.
Yes. It was through Willow Wanders, who's also Instagram. It was like all these Instagrammers, talking about what they do. And Autumn Moon introduced me to asemic writing, which means writing that has no meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a lot of theory behind that.
Mm-hmm.
But, my asemic writing is basically, writing to look decorative and to look different. So, I worked on a lot of these scripts so that they look distinctive. And also one of the things that I tend to do when I do these pieces of asemic writing is that usually there's music going through my head.
Well, that's so fun.
Yes.
I'm biased. I'm a musician, but
oh, there you go. Yeah. I have music in my background too, and so when I was doing the background, I was hearing music in my mind. The song from the Ting Tings called "That's Not My Name."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it's
and that's perfect because my name is home.
Right, exactly. Because and I was even sort of, while I was doing it, I mean, it was very stream of consciousness, and then I was, there's the I guess it's the chorus that goes, they
That's
call
not
me
my
X,
they call me
Y.
Stacey.
Yeah, and then right, exactly, and then I would be like, they call me Bill, they call me her, I was just jamming, so I wrote out the background first, and then I've also been doing, really recently, I've been doing cut collage with painted papers.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that because one of the things that's interesting is you're creating a background, a more abstracted background where you're using, I'm assuming watercolor, some sort of water medium.
You know what? Actually, I think that was acrylic with water.
Oh, yeah.
In.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you're writing on that, but then you have these other separate pieces that you're collaging onto them where you've also done separate writing and then pieces that you've painted. And so I wanted to talk to you about your process on that. So can you go into a little bit how you prepare all of the pieces that go into this?
Yeah, well, the cut collage stuff, I also, I've been taking a lot of courses.
I love
that. Because I mean, I don't know, I'm on the computer a lot and I'm like, oh my God, I want to learn that. Oh my God, I want to learn how to do that. Yes. And in fact, I mean, in my other life, 10, 15 years ago, I was a writer and an academic.
I just said to you that you have a very narrative writer vibe.
Yes. Well, yeah, that comes honestly. I mean, I did all kinds of writing, all kinds of school. And I sort of started picking up art because I just started doing it one day.
Well, you're a communicator too, and art is a different way to communicate.
Yes, and exactly.
So it's interesting because through your coursework, you got into these different ways of making different layers of art. So painting and assembling, I'm going to say it wrong. Asemic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've been doing assemblage for a while now. I love how you put those together and like you're using actively the things that you do your coursework in.
Mm-hmm.
When you're making all those pieces, do you make them intentionally knowing they're all going into this?
No, actually not. I will say I do have to name drop Katie Noringer.
Okay.
She's out of Kentucky, I believe, and she did. And again, yes, the online art courses are a godsend, especially for me because I have an autoimmune condition and I can't really go to.
Being around crowds is
right.
Carol's getting a kid. Carol just got a kidney.
Right.
So we emphasize hard.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
When you have autoimmune issues, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be conscientious of who you're around all the
Yes,
time.
exactly.
So
And
like we were both masked until just this moment.
this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. And Katie, took us through her process of doing this, and so I did it too. But basically, you take and really, I'm excited about this because I never heard about doing it before. But you take paint, in this case, acrylic gouache,
Mm-hmm.
and you make a whole bunch of you paint it on a bunch of just regular old paper, like copy paper or typing paper, whatever, and you get all of these different colors, and you mix colors, and that's like the fun part. I mean, it's sort of similar to what you do with other types of mixed media, but in this case, you're just putting color on paper.
Yeah, you're basically creating the material that you're going to assemblage from.
Right. But you do, you do everything. You do. When I was doing it, I'm really into color, and I was, trying to find certain colors. Like I had to do a lot of different kinds of greens because, I wanted a specific green to go with a specific sort of maroon color, or, there's one, I really like yellow ochre. I really like sort of a saffron.
You have a
orange.
nice earthy tone with like pops of like bolder colors in it that I really like in your work.
Right.
And I do keep saying assemblage because the pieces that we showed from you before were more assemblages.
Yes.
But the works that we're showing now are collages.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
where you're working
yes.
with your own materials.
Right. Yes, exactly. And so when I came to making this piece, I was really focused on the central piece because this is sort of based on my mother's house, and
I like where the door is. It says
yeah, exactly. And we've been having, she had to go into an assisted living facility recently, and so just the issue of her house has been sort of a central image in my mind.
Yeah, and you've centered it here. And the thing is that home is, there's a reason why we use the word home for where we live, and also homing device because it centers in on something, and they're all the same root word. And what you've centrally located in this, and also there are things about it that look like a compass, like almost like you've made a compass that orients you towards home, because what we like both in a physical location and also in terms of like an emotional and intellectual space, the home becomes the content of like centering how your life moves around. And so I love that this is centered, and it's almost like a compass that you're going into, which I feel is really thoughtful. One of the things I thought was really interesting, because I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
No, go for it.
I can tell I can't help it. I have poor impulse control. One of the things that we've been talking a lot about with the show is that it is written as in like the rules and social covenants and of like landmark literature, landmark narratives, things that speak into our history and our legacy, blurbs, letter writing, every kind of way of using not just words, but language generally. Because when we say the word written, we tend to think of just the written characters that our society uses to convey language of communication. But writing actually encompasses a lot more than that. Like even like stage shows and TV shows and movies, it's written dialogue that they're all speaking. And so writing exists on many levels. In making a collage where you're collaging pieces that you've made, not only did you incorporate the asemic writing, but you also then created the vocabulary in the pieces of material that you then put together to form this, which I think is really one of the things that we're seeing. It's becoming kind of a little theme of the show, which is always what happens once you start doing the artist talks.
Of course.
I love that you have created both the language model and then incorporated it into this piece. Do you find that satisfying? Were you thinking about that when you made it?
You know, that's really interesting. I'm not sure if I translated this piece into language when I was working on it. I feel like I was focusing more on image and on sort of what went together. I mean, I was telling a story because I wanted to talk about the stability of home.
Yeah.
And then all of this other stuff, you know, is sort of blowing around it.
Yeah, and then it becomes more, as you get into the center, everything becomes much more stable, which is what the point of home is.
Right, exactly.
Like we even have the phrase in our society, stable home.
That's true. And it's important to have a stable home. It's very important. And so I think that, you know, I mean, and again, you know, the material, I did sort of, because I remembered it was the ting-tings that I did with this script, you know, I did incorporate that into the title. But I feel like, you know, sometimes when you're doing these fancy scripts like this one, is a lot of going up and down and sort of scribbling and twirling, you know, making little loops and things like that. And like, I couldn't tell you what this stuff said. I did do the script on this was actually my very, very, very shakily done version of kanji, like Chinese lettering.
Oh yeah.
So because I've also been studying Japanese for a long time, which is a very hard language to learn, by the way.
Yeah.
And I mean this just is the two kanji for kotoba, which is word or words. So I guess, I mean, you know, it's sort of all it
coalesces together.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that one of the things that I like about your work in particular is that you imprint a lot of meaning into it. And so even though we can't read, like, because it's asemic writing, and I've almost got the word.
No, you got it.
You are conveying, and it's almost like you're imprinting your thought into here without us knowing the exact words, which for artists and for the way that most humans process emotion and deep ideas, it does take time to process that through words and ideas that you might not be able to translate into words.
Yes.
And yet there is a feeling with it when you see something that speaks to you that I can't read what they wrote, but it touches me in a way that I understand exactly what they're saying.
Right.
So
right. Absolutely. And that's even true of written work. I mean, you know, when you write something, you don't necessarily know what it means.
Yeah.
Until you look at it later.
Well, and you're going to go through it like 4 or 5 times.
Sure.
We were talking to another writer yesterday, and she was saying her ideas on the first day of a project might change to the 5th day of her project, and then she might go back to the first idea, because writing is it's very emotive and it's very contextual. Like we think that some writing is very dry, and the thing is that some writing is very dry. It's very direct. It uses basic language or like highly technical terms to convey something very specifically. Right. Most of the reading and writing that we do as a culture actually has a lot of nuance, subtlety, concept, and context.
Yes, absolutely.
And this, your pieces, and Melissa has 3 pieces in the show. I think I said that at the beginning, and we'll flash them up right here. But your work speaks, like the reason I said before you even said that you're a writer, it tells a story. Even if you don't know exactly what the words for the story are, you get the idea of what it is. And so we're so excited to have it in It Is Written. And we're so excited that this is Melissa's 3rd show, and she's finally doing an Irish talk, and I could not be happier.
Yes,
So,
me too.
So
I'm thrilled. Thank you so much.
So thank you for doing this today, and
thank you.
And we're so glad. So everyone, come see Melissa's work from now through October 29th.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
Thank
Melissa.
you.